All right, headphone people, welcome back to the channel. We're here. This is the championship round of the March IEMadness. And so down to it here after we started with the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, and the Final 4, and I'll put all those video links down below. We are now to the championship round. In this round, we have two IEMs that I have really grown pretty fond of, and they're quite different. So they both have different strengths and weaknesses, and we'll get into why you might want either one of them, or both perhaps. But what we've got here is the Shure-Tape Pros versus the Sennheiser IE300s. So after narrowing down all of these different IEMs, and you know, if you're just tuning into the channel, I'm not a huge IEM person. I'm mainly a big over-ear headphone type of a person, but I do feel like IEMs definitely have their place in a collection, or at least in my collection, right? When I want to be super portable. Now, a lot of times for me, what I use, what I end up using is my Sony, my true wireless Sony XM4s. I mean, it's hard to beat this little package for convenience, but I don't think that this has the best sound quality in the world, or the best tuning or any of that. So, what I really wanted to do here is I wanted to try out some IEMs in kind of like the 100 to 200 or less range and just see what was out there, and if I found something that resonated with me that I would just kind of hang on to just as a reference point for IEMs, right? And so this whole process was me just narrowing down the field, because I had acquired a bunch of IEMs over the last year, and I never really got around to trying them out. So after trying out a bunch of IEMs, these are the two that I like the best, that beat out all the other ones. And yeah, let's talk about them. So before we get into it too much, most of my listening was done on the good old Mojo here, so pretty good source. And then a little bit with the Fiio UTSW5, but I can only use this with the Shure-Tape Pros. Just a quick recap, right? If you go back to the initial Sweet 16 video, I get more into the packaging and stuff there. Just to recap a little bit, both of these IEMs come with some good accessories. They both have decent cables. The IE300 cable is a little bit sleeker, a little bit slimmer, probably a little bit better contour or, flexibility. And then I really think, though, that out of a lot of these, just about all of them, I feel like the Shure's cable was kind of the nicest, right? It's braided, it's nice and thick. It was really nice to use. It actually comes terminated in a 2.5 balanced, and then you just get a little 2.5 to 3.5 adapter. I did struggle a little bit with this adapter, and sometimes it was a little finicky. But all in all, I do really like that cable when it comes down to it. Now, as far as build and fit and comfort and stuff go, the Sennheisers are plastic, the Shure's are metal. I think the Shure's look cooler, because they look, they got kind of that little cassette tape look to them, which is pretty neat. But I really appreciate just the size and the efficiency of the design of the Sennheisers. So for me, I would say that actually the Shure's turned out to be a little bit more comfortable and just fit my ears better, but I really do appreciate the size and the weight. Sorry, my cats are freaking out over there. I don't really know what's going on, but I really do appreciate the size and the weight and the design of the IE300. I do think they're really, really nice too. So I could go either way on that one, but just for me, the Shure's just fit a little bit better when it came down to it. But really what we're here to talk about is sound. And this is what's kind of interesting about these two different IEMs. The Shure's are very timid, I would say. They're timid but natural, and they're not super resolving. They don't have tons of detail. They're probably a little more compressed than the Sennheisers, a little bit better resolving, a little bit more detail. But ultimately, the Shure's, I feel like, just have a really just sweet and rich cohesive sound to them that, especially with the music that I am really enjoying right now, which is like folk acoustic music, they're just a great match for that. And they're very easy for me just to put on and listen, and I just don't think about it too much, and I just enjoy myself. Whereas the Sennheiser, you know, they're a little bit more intense. They're a bold IEM. They have big bass, sparkly treble, definite V shape to them. But ultimately, I feel like where I think it's fun and it's exciting, to me it doesn't come off quite as natural with the type of music that I'm into right now. And so while I do think it's technically better, and I do feel like it's more exciting, and I do feel like it's better separated and has a bigger sound stage and has better resolution, for me, the Shuers just have the package that just, it fits me, right? Like they just fit me really well. And I do think I wish they were a little bit better separated. I wish that they had a little bit bigger sound stage. I wish that they were a little more resolving. But really, when I'm listening to them, I honestly don't really think about it all that much. I just enjoy. And so for me, what it comes down to is the Shuers are just a great fit for me. Like overall, they're just a great fit. Where the Sennheisers, I definitely could see a lot of people leaning more towards them if they want a big, exciting sound. But I guess that's just not where I'm at right now. And so reflecting on all of these IEMs that I've been trying, let's just end it right now, right? The winners are the Shuers, right? Those are the ones for me. Like they're my winners of this challenge. So that's where I ended up with this. But like I said, we'll have to check the brackets, right? For those of you who entered, thank you. I'll tally up, you know, who scored the most, and I'll get in touch with you. And then, like I said, you can kind of have your choice of these IEMs, except the Shuers and a couple of the more expensive ones. But yeah, because the Shuers I'm keeping. And, you know, after reflecting on just like trying out IEMs, you know, there's that conversation to be had of which is better, you know, an IEM or, you know, an over-ear headphone, what's a better value and things like that. I mean, I don't know that I have a definitive answer for you. I still just personally prefer over-ear headphones better. I do think when it comes to cheaper headphones, like certainly IEMs like under $100 or around $100, you have a lot more variety that you can pick from, right? So you could order, like I did here, where, you know, I had 16 different IEMs, and a lot of them were pretty cheap, you know, ranging from, you know, $12 up to $200. But I guess the point is that if you're trying to find your sound and what you enjoy, maybe IEMs are a good place to start, just because you can get so many for so cheap, and they don't take up a lot of space, and you don't need, you know, crazy amps and stuff to drive them and things like that. And you can kind of play around with like, what sound do you like, or do you like multiple sounds, or, you know, you can kind of find your niche and find your signature, and then maybe you can apply that to headphones and you know, see if you can find a headphone that shares some of those characteristics and see if you like that better. But I mean, just IEMs are just so easy to get so many of them and try so many of them out. It's just simple and it's fun. So, you know, if you're looking for a little distraction from headphones or from speakers or something like that, I would definitely recommend going down like a little IEM rabbit hole. I know I had fun going down it over the course of these last few weeks while I've been trying these out heavily. And it also has, not that I want to dive super into IEMs, like I don't feel like I'm like, oh, I want to try like the highest high-end IEMs like I have been with headphones. I don't feel like I'm really there, but I do want to try out a couple of more IEMs, especially, so I mean, this tells you how much I liked the Shure Tape Pros here, but I did order another set of Shure IEMs, so I ordered the S12s to try those out just because I did like this sound so much, but I feel like they could be better. So I want to know, you know, that's always a sign of something that I'm enjoying, is if I want to try other things from that brand. The other one was the sibling to the Moondrop Starfield. So I like the Starfields. They didn't beat the IE300s, I didn't feel like, but I did like them. And the Moondrop Arias, I've heard lots of good things about those, and they can be had, you know, used for around like 60 bucks or something like that. So I'll probably try those out here in the near future as well. Outside of that, I don't really have a whole lot of more IEM ambitions, but you know, who knows? Maybe I'll drift that way again in the future. So for me, it's the Shoers. They win the championship, and now I've got a bunch of IEMs that I've got to send on down the road, I guess. So again, it's been a fun experience. Thank you if you've been kind of following along, or if you submitted a bracket and you've been participating. I appreciate that. And you know, I'll get in touch. And then, you know, I got an idea and I want to pitch it. And so if you're sticking with me, I assume you're one of the people that kind of like watches a lot of these videos and stays to the end. I'd like you to weigh in on Patreon for me, right? So I'm considering starting a Patreon up for anybody that would want to support the channel in that way. And then I think, you know, one of the perks that I would like to extend to patrons, people that are supporting the channel, is I would offer, you know, any of this stuff that I'm selling when I'm doing like a big liquidation or whatever, which I'm gonna have to do before too long here. And I would give you guys first crack at it, and I would sell it to you for, you know, extremely reasonable prices. I mean, I probably try to sell it for what I bought it for, but I usually get my stuff used at a pretty good deal, and I take good care of my stuff. So I was just wondering if people thought that maybe that'd be a worthwhile perk to be involved in. And, you know, I got some other ideas too, but that was kind of the main one that I wanted to pitch here. And just thinking about, you know, I've got a bunch of IEMs that I need to sell, so I thought I'd throw that idea out there. So if you want to weigh in on that, I would appreciate that. And just hearing what you think, you know, hearing what you think is like a reasonable, you know, tier system, or, you know, what you would consider subscribing for, you know, $2, $3, $5, $10, like whatever you think it would be. Because ultimately, you know, really I want to keep doing these videos, but it is mostly funded by myself. So having a little bit of extra support to be able to acquire more gear and different things like that would be appreciated. So I don't know, weigh in, let me know how you feel about that. Again, I really appreciate your support, and certainly no obligation to, you know, subscribe or you know, be a patron if I get that going and things like that. I just appreciate you stopping by and hanging out and commenting and engaging with the channel a little bit. So thanks again for everybody that's been with me and has been supporting me. I appreciate it. I thank you for your time, and, you know, hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.